Hey guys, Haz here at Shield K9. We are going to be doing another fun responding to the comments series. So it's been a while since I did this, so I'm looking forward to doing this. I'm going to answer some questions and I'm going to respond to some of the more interesting comments. I know like 99% of the comments on this channel are positive. They're people that are thankful. They're people that are encouraging me to keep doing what I'm doing, and I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that. I do read a lot of the comments, and I appreciate all the positivity. But for the sake of this video, let's face it, positivity isn't all that entertaining. So let's have a little bit of fun, and hopefully I'll answer some of your questions. So the first comment that I'm going to go to is by Gabriel. And Gabriel commented on my Dutch Shepherd's worst breed for the family. So this was a video I did, and feel free to watch it. This was a video I did on why, in my opinion, Dutch Shepherds are one of, if not the worst breed for a family to own. And needless to say, I got a lot of pushback on that video. So let's read this comment and then I'll get into it a little more. Gabriel, you're just completely wrong, man. Literally all evidence points towards the exact opposite of what you're saying. What evidence? Like literally everything. Again, what evidence? Be specific, Gabriel. I'm going to guess you had one bad experience as a kid or something with one, but spreading false information isn't cool. I never had a single bad experience with any dog as a child. I was always very interested in dogs. I always loved dogs. When I first saw Dutchies, I thought they were extremely cool. So I never actually had any bad experiences with Dutchies. What I have is a lot of experience with a lot of breeds, including Dutchies. And I'm not talking one Dutchie. I'm not talking two Dutchies. I'm not talking I saw a Dutchie and I petted it once and it growled at me. I'm talking about I have trained, at this point, probably like 20 of them because they're just not that many, right? In that range. I've been involved in the training of 20 of them. Protection, obedience. I'm not talking, I didn't throw hot dogs at them. I actually trained these dogs. I actually worked with their behavioral issues. I actually dealt with these dogs under multiple circumstances. I've owned to date 3 or 4 Dutch Shepherds. I know what I'm talking about, Gabriel. I don't say things just to say them. So you need to be very specific when you say that I'm completely wrong. Literally all evidence? What evidence? What study has there been comparing Dutch Shepherds to other breeds to be, in terms of their desirability as a family pet? I'm a professional dog trainer, okay? I say what I said. I said what I said, and I stand by literally everything I said in that video. The very dog I was using in that video was case in point. That's your average Dutchie, right? Now, look, I'm not saying that maybe in Holland, on average, the Dutchies are better. Okay, I'm not gonna debate that. I'm sure there are more good Dutchies in Holland than probably anywhere else. I happen to own a Dutchie right now that's from Holland that I think is pretty good. But even the Dutchie I own right now, who I like a lot, in a family situation, if he had been raised in a family situation, it would have been a catastrophe. It would have been absolutely terrible. And he's what I would term a good Dutchie. Now, most of the Dutchies we see around here are nerve bags, okay? I'm talking North America. Nerve bags. They are poorly bred dogs. They have they're very reactive dogs. They're very nervous dogs. And on top of that, they fundamentally lack stability. They are not good family dogs. They carry a dose of aggression, which the breed should have. But when that's not backed up by a good nervous system, which most of those dogs don't have, right? And a lot of predisposition to handler aggression, which is quite common in the breed. And I know this, yes, from Dutchies that I've owned. Predisposition to redirection, all that type of stuff. They are the worst, top 3 worst breeds for a family to own. Now, look, if you get a dog from a professional like me, fully trained, the dog has been selected because, hey, it is a stable dog. He's good with pressure. He's good from a social perspective. He has a good nervous system. He's been fully trained. He's, gone through years of training and you're getting kind of a more finished product. Then yes, that certain dogs in that breed could work in a family situation. I'm not saying they couldn't, but the average person doesn't get a dog like that. Those dogs are very expensive. The average person goes and buys a Dutchie. They'll Google Dutch Shepherd breeder near me, and they'll go and buy from whatever breeder's breeding nerve bags that are stripy near them, and that's what they're going to end up with. And I've dealt with many Dutch Shepherds, and most of them have nerve issues. Most of them have behavioral issues, a lot of resource guarding, a lot of handler issues. A lot of them chewed up the handler. A lot of them represent a danger to the children in the family. Not, on average, a good breed for a family or a novice to own. And I know even many working handlers have had Dutchies that they've struggled with, even Dutchies that I would term as good, because, if you don't know what you're doing when you're building one, you're going to have some problems. So, no, Gabriel, I believe you are wrong and I am right. So, next comment. Let's see here. This one's a good question. So, Mystic Bengal's question is, so she types, a question I imagine will unfortunately be ignored. Well, good news, Mystic Bengal. Today is your lucky day. I happen to be answering questions. Or your question, anyways. I have two purebred German Shepherd dogs that are literally cannibals. They killed two of my other adult dogs. Dogs they've been okay with for a year, and then they are them. I think she means they ate them. One of the large dogs they killed and partially ate, that thus far have not dug him up and ate his remains. Further, since I buried him, I'm sorry. I don't know quite what. Okay, so you're saying that they killed him, you buried him, but they haven't dug him up yet. Dear God. The other dog they killed, another German Shepherd, they literally dug her body up and ate most of it last night. What could cause this? Sincerely, they are free fed, have tons of dog food, and they have a large fenced property to run on. So if they have a large fenced property to run on, and they have lots of food, obviously it's not hunger that's causing this. Well, what other issue could be causing this? So here's the thing, guys. Keeping dogs in packs is actually quite a risky thing, especially certain breeds. Okay, it's like you want to keep a bunch of labs in a pack, go for it. You want to keep a bunch of retrievers, a bunch of chihuahuas. Look, there are certain dogs you can do this with, and it's relatively low risk. Hounds tend to get along, especially from certain breeds. They're kind of always kept like that. But here's the thing that a lot of you guys don't know. I know that I think probably the dog whisperers really kind of deified this idea of keeping dogs in packs. But what you don't realize is those people that keep the big packs of dogs, there's always people managing those situations. Those dogs are rarely, if ever, alone. And the smart people that keep dogs in packs, they know the problem causers, and they don't leave them unsupervised with the pack, right? Dogs are animals. However loving and wonderful they may be, they are still animals. And things like a weakness, if one of the dogs is sick, if one of the dogs is weak, if one of the dogs is just mentally weak, the other dogs will turn on that individual. The other dogs, it can kick off. And when it kicks off, listen, I'm telling you, a lot of these people that, keep like 10 Rotties or 10 German Shepherds or whatever else, they don't show you guys the bad things. You might know those people on YouTube or whatever. I think there's a bunch of people on YouTube that do the big dog pack thing. And it's cool, don't get me wrong. But I guarantee you, they are not showing you guys when it goes south. They are not showing you the dogs that have been killed, the dogs that have been torn up, the fights, the injuries, so on and so forth. They don't show you that stuff because that's not what anybody wants to see. But that's real life. And there is a lot of that with dog packs. So especially with certain breeds, they don't do generally well in a pack, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Anything guardian breeds, anything that has a little bit of intensity, a little bit of strength, A-type personalities, you don't do it. The Mastiffs, the German Shepherds that are working line anyways, the bullies, it's a risky deal. It's a risky deal, and it can and does go south a lot. I would say that your situation, there was probably, you might say that they got along for a year, but I guarantee you that there was tons of warning signs. The other thing is just space to run and free access to food isn't enough for a lot of dogs. They need more. They need mental stimulation. They need rules. They need a job. They need things to do. You need to manage that situation. When you leave dogs to their own devices like that, they're not wolves living in this strict hierarchy. They're not. And listen, wolves will kill each other too if they're from differing packs. And sometimes they even kill each other within the same pack, right? But it's a strict family unit, multiple generations of wolves doing this, right? Dogs, you probably bought them from different places, or even if they're all from the same litter, Like they don't have that same genetic predisposition. So oftentimes you will see issues when you have large groups of dogs together in the wild, so to speak. So with feral dogs, you will often see dogs that kill each other or attack one another. It's a very common thing. So these types of dogs, if you have to know what you're doing if you're going to keep multiple dogs like that, and you need to be careful about the breed. With your situation moving forward, do not allow those dogs to intermingle with one another unsupervised. I would never leave them loose together. Do not, under any circumstances, buy any more dogs or leave any more dogs with the two that have already, killed their pack mates, so to speak. Um, and like I said, don't leave them unsupervised with one another. Learn from this. I would train both those dogs, ensure that they have a job, ensure that they have things to do, and when they're not being supervised, they're safely contained. And learn from this and move forward. They are dogs, they are animals, and they can hurt one another. They can hurt people too. Okay, the next question or comment, I should say. Ooh, this is from Dog Community. So she's commenting on my new, I'm assuming it's a she. Seems like a 12-year-old girl based on the syntax. But I mean, at least I hope that's who it is. My new Dutch Shepherd training time, part 4. So this is my video series with Mace, me showing my training progression. The choke collar is a no for me. He's really stressed with that thing, and you are choking him so hard. This may build up aggression. Build and aggression are misspelled, my dear. Later in life, there should be a period on the end of that. So, the choke collar is a no for me. Based on what? Your extensive experience training Dutch Shepherds, your extensive experience training dogs in protection work, your extensive experience rehabilitating dogs, or building dogs into protection dogs, police dogs, sport dogs. What's that no based on? People just make comments like this, and it's like, what? Like, you know what? Here, I queued this video up because I knew I was going to use it.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, that pretty much says it all, right? Like, who are you? What have you done? In order for you to say no, you need to know something, right? You need to have done something. And based on your comments, I know you haven't done anything. And I know you don't know what you're talking about. A no is for somebody that knows, right? If you knew anything about dogs and dog training, and especially dealing with dogs like him, not that Mace is a nasty dog by any stretch, you would know why I'm using a choke chain with him. And you would know that it's certainly not the worst thing I could be doing. Okay, let's see here. Boo. Michelle comments on the Dutch Shepherd video. So this is my worst breed for the family. And I know this video made its rounds, man. This video's gotten around. I knew it would. Okay. Wow, I must be another lucky Dutch owner as well. I have a reverse brindle male. And yes, he was a mess when I got him at 1 year old. And he's 4 now. And I wish everyone could have an animal so loving and devoted. Well, there's a couple of things. I'll say this. A lot of people are blinded by love. Okay, listen, I'm happy that you're happy with your dog and that your dog's in a good situation. Even the Dutchies, and I would say probably, 9 out of 10 of them are really, in my opinion, not good dogs. It's not their fault they were born like that. It's not their fault they have that DNA. And, if they can find people that understand them in situations that are going to be good for them, I'm happy for those dogs. I don't want those dogs to suffer. I don't want them to be in bad situations. If possible, I don't want them to be put down. Okay? I'm educating people as best I can so that they don't get themselves and a poor dog into a situation that it wouldn't be good. So I knew this video would attract many people saying, no, my Dutchie's the best Dutchie ever. Obviously, that's the type of person that's going to watch this video, right? But I hope enough people watch the video that were considering getting a stripy German Shepherd, so to speak, and chose not to. Because it is not a breed for anybody other than those who really know what they're doing. You said he was a mess. Why was he a mess? I mean, if it was such a... Listen, I don't care where the dog came from. I have run into many, many dogs that, in my opinion, were fantastic dogs that live with people that really don't know what they're doing, don't do half the things they're supposed to do with the dog, and yet the dog is still awesome. The dog is still safe. The dog might not listen so well, but the dog is great with the family because it's an awesome dog. That's a great family dog. That golden retriever that jumps on the table and, eats all the food, but, the kids can play with him. And, he doesn't maul grandma because she looked at him funny. You can trip on him at night and not fear for your life. He doesn't resource guard or any of that type of stuff. He might not listen. He might not come when he's called. He might run out the door when he can run out the door and have a little fun playing tag in the neighborhood. But he's not a danger to the kids. He's not a danger to the family. Overall, he's a positive, fun animal to be around. He just needs a little bit of control. That's what I would call a good family dog. A Dutch Shepherd, even a good one, so like even the one I've got, like Mace, no, it's not a family dog. Not without a lot of really good professional work. So I stand by that comment, but I am happy that you're happy with your dog. Let's see, guys. Let's see. Going through all these comments. GL Canine Services commented on a video that I did called Sparring with Canine Rico. That's where I'm doing some bite work with Canine Rico. And I don't think this is actually a negative comment. This is more of a, based by the name, I assume that they do some training with dogs. Genetical issues in this one grips. Typewriting is 100% genetic, and usually there is a nerve issue on the dog. 99% of times you can fix it to a certain extent for some low-level sport work, but once the dog gets deployed, he will resort back to its original behavior. Very weird choice. Mr. Has brought this one as a green dog upon noticing such an issue. No, I disagree with you. Some of the strongest dogs I know are not firm in the grip. They will move around on the grip. And the reason it's not, typewriting can be a nerve issue. And this is, I don't, listen, I don't know your experience, my friend. I know my experience and I know what I've seen. So dogs that move in the grip, they can move for two reasons. Okay. Dogs only know what's in their best interest. Okay. So there are many dogs, and I've run into them, that have had bad work in the past, and that work has paid them for doing things that we don't, maybe as professional decoys, want the dog to do, right? So there are many dogs that hunt for a feeling. They look for a feeling. So they'll be biting, and if you stop paying them, especially a young dog, remember, keep in mind, this is a 15-month-old dog. If I only bought young dogs that were perfect in every way, I probably would not have like 99% of the dogs that I ever owned or have and have trained and sold. What they'll do is they'll hunt around and they'll say, okay, I'm not getting anything here. What if I buy here? And if the decoy responds on purpose or by accident, all of a sudden now you've paid the dog for doing something, right? There's many people, they'll work a dog in such a way that he almost has no choice, but he has to move on the grip. So it's not always a nerve issue. Some of the most aggressive dogs I found, they actually look. So like the dog Rex, owned by Brent. I have a video of him from like 2 years ago. I think it's like the strongest Malinois in North America. Anybody that met that dog knew he was no joke. He would move on the grip sometimes because if you didn't respond enough in one spot, he had learned, hey, the suit oftentimes, especially on the back of the leg, has weak spots. So if he can, he wouldn't make big moves, just little move side a little bit, side the other way, looking for the one that's going to make you scream the loudest. He's looking to make an impact on you. A real dog wants to make an impact on you. Or it can be confusion. Well, this isn't working and I'm always paid here. And now you're not responding to my grips here. So now, oh, I've done this and now all of a sudden you're responding, right? I'll tell you why it's not an issue, even especially with Rico. So Rico, the reason I bought Rico is he's very confident, he's very stable, he's going to be an excellent executive protection dog, like top tier. Okay, very very confident dog. You can just see it in his demeanor. Okay, that work you're seeing, based on that's like after like 3 days of work. Okay, and he moved once in that video. At the beginning, he was moving a lot more. He'd bite here, and then he'd type. It wouldn't type right. It was more like a shift of a script there. And just with a little bit of corrective training, it's fixed. And the reason I know it's not true is because in many cases, dogs that do this, when you put more pressure on them, they actually will commit harder. The dogs with the nerve issues, those are the ones that start moving when you put the pressure on them. If you watch that video, when I put more pressure on Rico, he did not move his grip. That's when he became less likely to move his grip. So, no, it's not always a nerve issue. In some cases, it can be a nerve issue. But I've certainly run into a lot of dogs that are real as a heart attack that maybe don't have the most, let's say, stable grip. Grip is genetic. I've met dogs that'll fill their mouth and stay in one spot that are certainly not what I would call a confident dog. Grips to a large degree are genetic. Does confidence impact it? Yes, but it's not 100%. So, no, I mean, most anybody that took Rico on a suit would not have a problem with him at all. Very confident dog. Let's see. See, like again, guys, there's like so many nice things, so many nice comments, which I do appreciate. Naturally Curly Hair asks me, "Are you going to breed Mace now that you found out he isn't as bad as you thought?" I think since there aren't many good Dutchies, it'd be a good deed if you did at least one litter for Mace and a good dam. No, I have no plans to breed Dutchies. I have no plans to breed Dutchies. I leave that to the people that want to breed Dutchies. Um, let's see, man. Ah, Cherish wrote a comment here I think I should respond to. The GSD, this is on the different types of German Shepherds. I did a video on like, I think 3 or 4 different types of German Shepherd. I can't remember how many I included in that video. It's from a year ago. Feel free to watch it. That one also got a lot of feedback, so to speak. The GSD was not bred, misspelled, to be a working breed originally. It's a herding dog. Really? Herding isn't work? Every dog that we use as dual purpose dogs these days were originally herding dogs. It was later discovered of versatility and adapted more modern with working. What? You can't even write. This is the thing, people that come at me, it's like, you can't even communicate. If you can't even communicate, like, why are you writing comments about something you clearly. How many German Shepherds have you known? Sorry, bred. How many German Shepherds have you bred? How many have you trained? How many? I guarantee you, next to none. Maybe one if we're lucky. Okay? The German show line is much less desirable in the show ring as it lacks the breed standard to cover as much ground in as few steps as possible. Hence, the origin of herding and cover. Yeah, I'm aware of that. The American show line is the more desirable choice in the show ring to breed standards of CKC and AKC. The American show line is the poorest example of the German Shepherd being purpose bred for anything. It is a shame what they've done to those dogs. Weak nerves, fragile dogs, mentally and physically. They are terrible, terrible examples of what a German Shepherd. They are literally, if I gave myself the job, if I said, look, I'm going to give you this breed for, I don't know, 70, 80 years. I want you to fuck it up. I want you to ruin it. I want you to make this breed useless for anything. I want you to make this breed barely capable of getting through life. Just destroy them. I don't think I could have done a better job than the American show line German Shepherd. And that's saying something. The average pet line German Shepherd I see is and pet line, when I say pet line, it just means like a scatterbred dog, a dog that, somebody's just breeding German Shepherds because my neighbor's got a purebred and I've got a purebred. On average, those dogs are even better. So, no, you're wrong. All right, let's see here. One more comment, guys. One more comment. We're having fun, but my throat's getting a little dry here. This is from GL Canine again. He's talking about Mace in my part 4. He shows such a high desire to work. I wonder if his grip issues come from previous faulty training or there is a genetical problem there. His grip is strong, however, though, but it's textbook definition of hectic grips. Hope he does better in his future sessions. He looks very promising overall. He's a nice dog. Mace is a nice dog. Listen, here's the thing, and I always say this to people. He's a nice dog, but he's very big and he's very strong. And a lot of dogs that are nice and out of control look like the Hulk come again. We will see once he's in control what is there. Now, I have a feeling there's a reason I bought the dog, and I paid good money for him. There's a reason why. I buy dogs not just on how everything goes in the test, though that's important. I buy dogs on the character that the dog shows me in the test, and that's hard to communicate. I can't say look for this, this, this. There's a way that a dog carries itself. Like for instance, we talked about Rico just now. When I saw Rico, almost right away, I liked him and I knew I was going to buy him. Not because he was big, but the way he carried himself. His tail was up. He walked onto the field with a very open mind, a very forward behavior, but not retarded. He wasn't stupid, like you see with a lot of males. Not, confident, ready to go, not didn't shrink with the pressure. He actually brought more with the pressure. It's the kind of dog I like. And Mace was the same. There's a lot of dog there, obviously. He's really intimidating just from his physical appearance. And he is, look, every grip issue, almost every grip issue, there's a genetic component. Every dog has a predisposition to do certain things with the grip. So Mace does what my dog Gage wants to do. He shakes. Okay, there are many dogs, they have this predisposition to headbang. And because he's so big, he gets away with it. Because what are you going to do? If Mace headbangs you, you're going with him. I don't care, unless you're a really, really big, strong dude, you are going to be reacting to that headbanging, especially if you're wearing a bite suit and he's hanging off your bicep. Okay? So obviously, that's something that should have been dealt with when he was young, and it wasn't. Just like Gage does it. If you watch me do the work, you'll see he thrashes a lot, and I control that somewhat with the electric. But that's his predisposition as well, instead of pulling, which is what we would like in IGP, or at least being more stable in the grip. I've seen dogs like Rico is a wonderful example of a dog that obviously has good training too in the grip, but he pushes very naturally. When Rico is on the grip, you can feel him on the counters. 9 times out of 10, he's punching with his molars. You'll feel those molars hit you on every counter. Very good natural pushing grips, and there's a genetic component to that. So, can we work on those grips and make them better? I think I can. But, I guarantee you Mace will still headbang by the end of it. I just want him to be headbanging with his molars on the bicep, not his canines. I like talking about that kind of stuff. It's always very interesting for me. It's always fun. Okay. One more, guys. One more. Nothing, guys. We got nothing here. You'd think I'd have more negative comments. I guess it's a good thing. Um, but hey, let's be real. The negative comments are always very entertaining. Uh, let's see. Anything. Try to go back a little bit. People ask me to recommend a Malinois or a Dutch Shepherd breeder in Canada or something. I can't recommend one because I don't really know one. All right. That's the thing, right? Like I don't really know one around here that I would say for sure, yeah, go to them. So I leave it to you guys. But listen, if they're not working, those dogs, and I'm not talking like they have story, like if they're not working those dogs, do not buy those dogs. Man, I wonder if all YouTube people have to scroll this far for it. I mean, sometimes I have a lot of negative comments on a specific video, but maybe I just haven't been doing anything too controversial lately. Hmm. You know what? So North London dog training. You know what? I saw this comment and I want to give you props. To be fair, their recall wasn't the best I've seen. Personally, I don't like shouting at my dogs the whole time. I want them to know that even if I just mutter, come, they should come like a bullet, or there are going to be consequences not coming. Still, I really love watching your stuff, but I would personally be holding them to a much higher standard. You, sir, are right. You are right. And here's why I think you're right. I watched that video back. I saw your comment, and I was like, let me watch that video. I was like, God damn. I gave them formal commands multiple times and I actually allowed them to get away with it because, listen, in my defense, I was focused on filming. But I say, that's not acceptable. That is not acceptable. And I took them for a walk directly after that. And I made them finish every formal recall. Here's the thing. Sometimes I get into the habit with them in my forest. This is my forest, by the way. When I'm out in public, I don't screw around. Okay? If I say come, you better come. But in my forest, on my property, I'm a little bit more laissez-faire. And the reason I'm more laissez-faire is because hey, just kind of stay where I can see you. But I shouldn't say things I don't mean. If I just say the dog's name, I just want the dog to pause, maybe come back a little bit. I don't need them to make a full recall. But if I say Gage come or Yaxie come, that dog should make a full recall. And I did see myself several times in that video say, this is my video walking Gage and Yaxie together. I did say come and they didn't come. And I didn't really follow up with them the way I should have. Again, focused on the video, but still bad precedent. So I want you to know North London dog training. That I actually agree with your comment. That was criticism I think I deserved. And you know what? That was feedback that I went in there and I was a little bit more cognizant. Now, of course, I wasn't filming, so it was a lot easier. And they only tried to fool around with me a time or two, and then they came every single time after that. I'll tell you this, though. It's weird. Like, when I pull out the camera and I start talking, it's like the dogs know I'm, like, not in tune with them. Even though they're, like, obviously they don't know that I have a camera and whatever else, but it's like they know. They know I'm not there 100%. And they certainly will screw around with me more when I don't have the camera out, or sorry, when I have the camera out than when I don't have the camera out. It's as if they can sense your attention is divided. I wouldn't be surprised if they can. Dogs are extremely perceptive. Anyways, guys, I don't know. I think we're at the end here, and again, appreciate all the positive stuff. It's fun. I should read the comments more often. Do you see Mace sticking around? My Corso Draugr has a similar. Listen, guys, I just want to be clear. I did not rescue Mace, my new Dutchie that I'm making the videos with. I did not rescue him. Okay, he was not a rescue. I bought the dog. I paid good money for that dog. I liked the dog. He was not being abused. He was well fed. He was well taken care of. Could the training have been better? In my opinion, yes, but obviously the people there were happy with where he was at, right? Um, so who am I to judge? I'm just saying what I saw when I got him to me. I have my own standard. I have things I want to see. He's not where I want him to be. And I'm going to keep him for a period of time. I'm going to play with him. I'm going to train him. I'm having fun. I'm getting him out every day, multiple times a day. Me and Hef are working on him and training him. He's good for my junior decoys. They're learning how to fix grips, make grips, so on and so forth. But Mace is not going to stay here long term. There is going to be a very good home for Mace. But while he's here, I'm having a lot of fun building him, fixing the problems, but not only fixing the problems, developing the dog. I feel like he's very underdeveloped in terms of his obedience training. And I'm having a lot of fun just developing this dog. He's a very smart dog. He's very willing to work, and he's a very sweet dog once he knows you. Of course, he's still a big dude, and he's still got a lot in him. But he's a dog that I'm going to turn into something I think really nice, and I'm going to enjoy the process of giving somebody a top tier dog by the time I'm done with Mace. He is going to be a dog for somebody. I don't know who yet, but he is going to be a dog for somebody. He does have a BRN number. That's a pedigree, so on and so forth. He does have one, but I think somebody's really going to enjoy living the rest of their life with, well, not the rest of their life, hopefully the rest of, having that dog for the rest of his life. It's not going to be me, just because I don't think I have the time for it. But right now he's here and we're training a lot every day. So that's the future for Mace. He's going to be developed, and I'm going to sell him as a top tier dog when I'm done with him. Okay, guys, I think that's it. That's all. I appreciate you guys checking in. I hope you found this entertaining. Oh, I know everybody gets mad at me because I always forget. Like, subscribe, comment below. Check out my online training. I have a complete list of online training courses available on my website, shieldk9online.com. Okay, Shield, SHIELD, K number 9, online.com. You can see all my online courses, shieldk9.ca, shield, K number 9.ca. All my products, all the stuff I train with is available there. So give that a check out, and comment below. Maybe you disagree with some of my responses to the comments. Maybe you agree. Let me know how you feel. I'll probably read the comments. So hope to see you guys in there.